and Federal Highway. And considering this was a historic structure as well, there were Federal Highways involved in that level of review also. The public involvement for the job was held on January 30th, 2020, and that was held prior to the final approval of the environmental document because the hearing process was part of that final approval. The public involvement was a combination for the historic bridge programmatic agreement that requires us to have a hearing because the bridge is historic, and as part of the NEPA process for the project for final environmental approval. And tonight we're having our open house virtual presentation as well. So Marion County Bridge 1104F was built in 1957, rehabilitated already once in 95. It's a 5-span reinforced concrete girder bridge, and the bridge is eligible for inclusion on the National Register of Historic Places, and that listing is based on criterion C for its engineering significance. It is considered a non-select bridge for historic purposes, and we'll get into that here just next slide. I'll give you an idea of what we're talking about. We're talking about non-select. So the bridge is listed as a non-select structure on the Indiana Historic Bridge Inventory, and those types of bridges that are considered historic, but not considered as an excellent example of a given type of architecture or bridge design. And as part of that process, for the design process, before you start, you go into an alternative analysis. In this case, it's called a historic bridge alternative analysis. It kind of looks at the options you evaluate for what you're going to do with the bridge. And that's included as part of the environmental document, but the historic bridge alternative analysis examines various alternatives, like, for example, a no-build alternative or a replacement alternative or a combination of rehabilitation alternatives. In this case, it was a replacement of the historic bridge superstructure for continued vehicular use, a two-way option, and was on the existing preferred alignment. So they basically replaced the historic bridge superstructure and maintained it as a two-way vehicular option on existing alignment. Next, there were 9. I just recall too, there were 9 options evaluated for that alternative analysis during the design process. Excuse me. Into a little bit of our purpose and need for the project. The structure has a sufficiency rating of 54 out of 100 possible points. So it needed some work. There's holes in the bridge deck. They have exposed reinforcing steel. Expansion joints were leaking. The roller bearing plates are misaligned. Concrete is having some poor condition, some wear. Both the guardrail and sidewalks do not meet current design standards. So the project purpose was to correct the structural and geometric deficiencies, and then by doing that, they could extend the anticipated remaining life of the bridge by a minimum of 25 years. So some of the improvements that they're doing out on the bridge is they're replacing the reinforced concrete girder superstructure with a new continuous composite, unpainted weathering steel plate girder superstructure. The bridge deck will be removed and replaced with an 8-inch thick reinforced concrete deck. Existing bridge rails will be removed and replaced, and the expansion joints at the abutments will be eliminated. They do that by making the abutments semi-integral, and I think Randy could probably give you a little bit better information on that if you have questions. Piers will be patched, needed, and riprap, which provides scour protection, will be installed where necessary. Typically, it's around piers, abutments, and on slopes where you have erosion control or scour issues. Sidewalk at the southeast corner the bridge corner will be extended to the Riverview Drive Illinois Street intersection, and then sidewalks on the bridge will be widened from 4 to 7 feet, make it a little bit wider. And new sidewalks and curb ramps will be constructed at the southeast and northwest corners. Continuing on improvements, the existing streetlights will be replaced, and they're going to install new lighting consisting of 5 decorative 14-foot tall, they're fluted black aluminum posts with 2 Alcorn-shaped lights. You can see there's example 1 there on the side of what those will look like. There'll be 5 of those installed on the bridge. More of a historic look to go along with the structure. Going into maintenance of traffic, there'll be phased construction. Traffic conveyance will alternate beginning on the south side of the bridge, then we'll switch to the north side as a substructure and the superstructure repairs are completed as part of that construction. Sidewalks on the bridge will be closed during the phase 1 of the construction, and sidewalks on the north side of the bridge will be open during phase 2 of construction. There will be there'll be a full closure of Kessler Boulevard for a time for utility work. There's extensive utility work out there, and for setting of the phase 2 steel girders that are necessary for the bridge. So phase 1 construction is going to start in March of 2021, ends October of 2021. The phase 2 construction will start March of 2022 and then end in November of 2022. There'll be some restrictions to canoe traffic along on White River during that construction, because due to the construction, they're going to have signs alerting recreational boaters will be posted upstream and downstream. Upstream at the Meridian Street Bridge, crossing over the White River, and same thing at the downstream crossing at the Michigan Road Bridge. The detour route for utility relocation will include westbound traffic using Meridian Street, Meridian Hills Drive, West 73rd, Hoover Road, and Fox Hill Drive to reconnect back with Kessler Boulevard on West Drive. And then the eastbound traffic will follow Fox Hill Drive, Hoover Road, West 73rd Street, and Meridian Hills Drive to reconnect with Kessler Boulevard West Drive. Once that utility relocation is complete, the two-way traffic will be restricted to the south side of the bridge, as then the contractor will begin working on the opposite side. Bridge sidewalks will also be closed during the first phase of construction, which is expected to be complete late 2021. The construction timeline and cost, construction will start in the spring of 2021. Anticipated end of construction is late fall of 2022. The overall project cost is about $7.5 million, a little bit over $7.5 million, with construction costs being a little bit over $6.6 million. As again, we saw earlier on our introductions, the contractor for construction is Illinois Constructors Corporation, IIC Group, and a construction inspection will be conducted by Clark Dietz Incorporated. That's our presentation. Again, it was a short presentation with information, and there's some contact information for Janelle there if you want to need to get in contact with her. So I'm going to hopefully get out of here now and give it back to you, Janelle.
If you want to leave that slide up, that's fine.
Okay.
I know people were asking who they can contact, so that's probably be good to keep it up there.
Okay.
I think we can open our question and answer portion of the session now. So does anybody have any questions? I see one. Are you saying the bridge will be closed from March to October? Brian, it looks like, I think this is for phase 1.
Let's see, let me get back here. I will probably ask the contractor and Clark Dietz to confirm this.
The initial closure for the first 2 weeks is from March 1st to March 14th. That's for the Citizens Energy to do their water line relocation work. And then from approximately March 15th through October, it'll just be restricted to 2 lanes on the east. They'll actually be using the eastbound lanes, but the bridge will be open basically from mid-March through the end of October, other than some utility relocation things.
There's 3 sets of 14-day closures for the utility work on this project. And as Eric mentioned, starting Monday, March 1st is the first of the 3. We're anticipating the second 14-day closure to be starting around the second half of June of this year. And the third and final 14-day closure for Citizens Energy, we're expecting around the beginning of August of this year.
So it looks like we're going to have 3 full closures of the bridge during the period of March to October.
That is correct, with
Okay.
1 lane each direction all the other times.
Now that will be different though from this initial first closure, because this first, the closure from March 1st to mid-March is going to be a complete closure of the bridge. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Next question is, what is the plan for telling traffic where to detour? This person lives on Crow's Nest Drive at Fox Hill, and their street is not set up to support the level of traffic that the closure is going to create. It looks like the speed limit on that street is 15 to 20 miles an hour. Would somebody be able to address how the detour was determined and
Right, this is the CEG closure. They're the ones that got approval for the closure, but the intent's not not to utilize Crow's Nest, but basically Kessler there that turns, I believe it turns into Fox Hill to go up 73rd. But I mean, that's the official detour. Now, if other people decide to take Crow's Nest, that's something that hopefully they won't do, but there won't be, we can't block off Crow's Nest. But the intent is not for the vehicles to detour down Crow's Nest.
and all of this information will be put on the DPW website, and I'll go ahead and put that address in the chat here so that everybody can see that. And it's going to be under bridge improvement projects. We have 3 different classifications, and I think it's the 3rd major classification on that page. But we're recording this presentation tonight as well. So when I receive that link, I'll go ahead and post this. So if anybody who wasn't able to attend, neighbors or residents, they can go on that page and watch the presentation. There's also going to be the presentation as a standalone document. We also have a fact sheet with some other information about the project too. Another question is, where does the closure start physically? Because this person has a secondary driveway near the bridge. They are actually right near the bridge, right next to the bridge at 301 Kessler.
The actual closure, will probably be there at Spring Mill Road on the west side, in that vicinity, and then probably around Illinois Street on the east side.
Bear with me, I'm just looking through some of the questions. A resident is concerned that during the last bridge closure, there was bumper to bumper traffic on their street and they weren't able to get out of their driveway. I'm not exactly sure where they live in the project area, but let's come back to that question, see if I can get more information on exactly where they live. Someone wants to know where the Detour signage will be located both east to west.
Can you say that again?
Sure. Where will the Detour signage be located both east to west?
Right, there should be, and I don't know the footage, how far away from the bridge it'll be, but I mean, there'll be multiple detour signs. There should be some signs saying, road closed ahead, and then there'll be a detour sign with an arrow. So obviously if you're heading west, you're probably going to see some signage east of Meridian Street, to indicate to take a right on Meridian Street. And then same thing going, if you're heading east, prior to Hoover Road, you should start seeing some signage saying, road closed ahead with a detour sign to tell you to take a left onto Hoover Road.
Okay, going
Nope.
back, I'm sorry.
I was just going to say there'll be detour signs along the route also. So if you're unfamiliar with the area, if you just follow the detour signs, it'll get you back around Meridian or Hoover, depending on which direction you're going.
Thank you. Yeah, back to the question about how the last bridge closure caused some issues with this resident getting out of their driveway. They live on Crow's Nest Drive.
Well, hopefully, like I said, the detour is not on Crow's Nest. We can't prevent, we got to obviously keep the local residents access to their street. Other than potentially we may have to take a look, and if there's excessive traffic taking that route, which they're not supposed to, then we might see if maybe there's some additional signage we can put up, maybe help reduce that traffic that is just merely on the detour versus or not taking the proper detour route.
Mm-hmm. And it may take a week or two for people to get used to the detour because it's new and people are not familiar with the area as far as where the detour is pointing them towards. So, there may be some missteps occasionally at the beginning of our projects, but usually by a couple weeks, everybody kind of gets that figured out and figures out their own way of going around the detour route. It looks like will there be a need to access the work from the property from the residents who live directly beside the bridge or use their driveway? And again, they were at 301 Kessler West, right next to the bridge and river. How close will the project come to their driveway, I guess is the question.
Yeah, there's no intentions to utilize their driveway to access the bridge. We'll be accessing it probably in between Spring Mill Road and just past Spring, somewhere around Spring Mill Road, probably where they're going to be getting access. Our project, we don't technically go past Spring Mill Road with the construction, other than just the detour or the maintenance of traffic phasing. But yeah, they'll be accessing that right away, just east of Spring Mill Road. And and since we're doing the north side of the bridge first, I mean, there should be very minimal access or at any time on the south side. Everything will go underneath the bridge while we're working on the north side.
Okay, another question. Please clarify the exact location of the bridge closeout on Kessler Drive. Currently, there is a traffic light at Kessler and Spring Mill Road. Will vehicles be able to access Spring Mill Road from Kessler prior to the bridge?
I will probably have to check with CEG on that to be for sure, to verify. I know their plan obviously shows the detour utilizing Hoover Road. So I didn't think they were closing Spring Mill, but I'll need to verify on that first.
And that's something that if that person wants to reach out directly to me, we can follow up with that, you know, individually. I'm putting the address for where you can find project information on in the chat right now. There we go. So it's going to be under the Kessler Bridge over White River project. And I think we left up the information from the prior public hearing also. So if you need to take a look at that, that's available. But everything for this meeting is going to be listed under February 2021. Another question. I think this may, this is the question about the detour. It says Hoover doesn't intersect Kessler. How will traffic eastbound on Kessler get to Hoover?
That's what Fox Hill. That's where the Kessler and Fox Hill split there. I believe the detour provided by CEG was utilizing Fox Hill to Hoover.
Yeah, there's a lot of roads that kind of change names at certain points in this area. So it's a little confusing, you know, if you're not real familiar with the area. But yeah, the detour, I think, was, and if Brian, if you want to, can you flip back to that slide where we have it outlined with the detour?
Let's see.
Yeah, I think it was this one.
Okay.
Yeah, the first two bullet points. And so just so we're all clear, the eastbound detour will turn north at Crow's Nest Drive, then take a left on Fox Hill Road to Hoover Road.
No,
Yeah,
that was basically if you're going westbound and you get to that intersection where Kessler bends and Fox Hill goes, you can take Fox Hill straight to Hoover and up around. Looking at the proposed CEG plan, it looks like they're going to have it closed off after Spring Mill, but until they get the setup there. But we'll follow up and give you a clear picture of the actual hard closure there at the bridge.
yeah, this is the closure that we're working with right now. We may have to make some modifications once we get out into the project, and to make it a little easier for people to get around. Any other questions or comments about the project? Back on the Fox Hill question. I think Mr. Baker, if you want to follow up with me personally, I'll be happy to help you work through that detour. I think it's a little easier sometimes when we look at diagrams and actual maps to see how the route is going. And we'll go ahead and once we get a detour map in place, we'll go ahead and put that up on the website as well so people can take a look at it. We don't have that up there right now because our detour was just kind of coming together as we were talking with citizens in the last few days. But we'll make sure to get that up there. Another resident wants to know that to ensure that timelines are met, are workers expected to be on site Monday through Friday, or will they be also working on weekends?
Currently, we're just anticipating Monday through Friday, but obviously as construction goes, needs may require putting in weekend work as needed. So right now, there's no plans for it, but we got to see how the project goes.
I think there may have been a little confusion when we were talking about the closure dates earlier and we were referring to them as full closures. The only full closure where traffic will not be going over the bridge will be from approximately March 1st through March 15th. The other two appear that traffic will be maintained on the south side of the bridge while utility work is going on. Is that correct?
No, those other two closures will be full closures, just as the one that's being implemented starting Monday.
Okay, so we'll need to get that information on the website as well. Because those were the ones that were in the second half of June for about 14 days in the beginning of August.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, just to just let everybody know, there's between the water line and the communication lines that are on the bridge. In order to make their connections, they have to get into the road to physically close the road to do some of that. So that's why there's those designated road closure periods. For the most part, as far as the actual construction of the bridge itself, traffic will be maintained other than a short few day closure in order to set beams in phase 2, because we've got to be sitting on the new side of the bridge in order to set some beams. But you know, once the utilities kind of get everything done that they need to get done, yeah, that'll be, and predominantly in phase 2, the road will be maintained with 2 lanes other than the short closure period for the setting of the beams.
And we will likely let people know, you know, give them a couple weeks notice when these closures are going to take place so they can prepare for that. Because, you know, we're hoping that the timeline stays pretty solid, but sometimes depending on weather, you know, things have to shift a little bit. So, you know, we will go ahead and put out something on social media and next door with the M&A's help to get this information out there for the neighborhood.
My name's
Some more?
Long Win, and I have something to say. This project right now, the management will be done by the CEG, the water company. So this detour route is for the water company only. When we start to close the second time and third time, we will have detour go to Michigan Road. We don't let the traffic go into Fox Hill at all. So Fox Hill is a residential area, so we try to reduce the traffic go to Fox Hill. And when our contractor get into construction, the detour will be go to Michigan Road, go up to north. And we will have a detail for that detour route accordingly. Second is all of the local traffic will be maintained during construction. We don't close any driveway at all. And the traffic at the intersection Spring Mill and Kessler will be open for the traffic. We restricted, but will be open. No closure at Spring Mill at this time, anytime. We touch, our construction limit at the east side of Spring Mill and the west side of College. And that is our project limit. And that's what we are going to do. The third one is as Chanel said, during the second of the construction or restriction, there is a lot of mess going on because the people will not familiar with the traffic. They will go everywhere, like water. Look like water. When you put someplace, they go another way. So take us about 2 weeks to monitor traffic, and we will adjust accordingly. And then we need your help. If you see the traffic back up or traffic get into your driveway a lot of time, and commercial truck get into your local traffic, after CEG getting complete, please give us a call. Chanel Burton, on the we will take any effort to control the traffic. We might put additional signs. We might put additional barricades in order to slow them down and keep traffic safely. Thank you.
And I'm seeing a lot of questions about what's going to be posted on the website. And so what we're going to do is post all the detour routes, one starting next week, hours when we start the actual construction, dates and information about the 3 closures, and anything else that appears to be a little confusing during this meeting. Because since we're going to have a detour change, we're going to need to differentiate between the utility detour and then the actual construction detour. So we will get that information out there on the website for everybody. Another resident is asking, once the construction is completed, would there be an additional pedestrian crossing besides the ones currently in place at the traffic lights located at Kessler and Spring Mill and Kessler in Illinois?
Yeah, we will do a at Illinois Street. There will be some additional crosswalks, but as of right now, there is no additional changes to Spring Mill. I believe that's, if I'm not right, Randy, you can let me know.
No, that's correct. We're ending at Springville.
Another person is asking, will the traffic sign show a full closure versus when it's just 1-lane traffic? And how will that be differentiated?
Yeah, for the CEG closure, or even when we close the bridge for the beams, it'll be definitively saying road closed ahead, road closed, those type things on an actual hard closure. The restricted which is basically one lane east, one lane west, you'll start seeing, you know, road construction ahead. You'll start seeing the arrow boards. We'll have arrow boards on both ends of the bridge to move traffic over, start getting them moved over into the, depending on which, obviously in this first phase, we'll be moving them to the south side, into the eastbound lanes if you're going west. So there'll be construction signs out front prior to let you know, lane ends ahead. Then there'll be some tapers, arrow boards to funnel people down into the one lane. And then as you cross the bridge, it'll start to open it up. So that'll happen in both directions, eastbound and westbound. So combination of arrow board signs, tape, barrels. We'll obviously we'll meet the maintenance traffic guidelines for safety out there. So try to make it as visible as possible for everybody. Obviously at night, that's usually a concern. We want to make sure everything is visible and to standards.
There's another question about certification of the flood wall on the east side. Do you have information on that?
What kind of certification you talking about? Well, I don't understand.
I'll try to get more information. That's kind of what the question asked, and I'm not real clear either. We'll come back to that one. Another question is, how far back will this signage of a full closure be put back? For example, all the way back to Illinois?
Yeah, the signs for the, you're probably going to start seeing closure signs, past or west of Illinois. Because by the time they get to Illinois, they'll either have to take a left or right, if they've gone that far. So there'll be signs west of Illinois letting them know that there's a road closed ahead. So they can you'll actually see detour signs that tell you to take a right on the Meridian Street if you're heading west. So they'll be actually east of Meridian Street.
We cannot hear you.
Sorry. The question back about the flood wall, the question basically is asking, shouldn't the Army Corps of Engineers certification be completed prior to construction?
Yeah, there's a Army Corps of Engineers permit that was obtained. So it's been coordinated with them already.
Would there be a third pedestrian crossing added to the bridge so pedestrians would be able to safely cross the bridge prior to reaching the existing traffic lights if necessary?
Well, as of right now, I'm assuming they're talking about trying to cross the bridge during the construction. If that's the case, there will be no pedestrian traffic across the bridge, because the CEG temporary water main will be on that south side sidewalk area, so there'll be nowhere to walk on that south side. So I mean, as of right now, there will be no pedestrian traffic across the bridge during construction.
Except when they complete the north side, when that's open, then they'll be able to cross on the north side.
Correct.
Actually, they're referring to this as it applies to the completion of the project, not during construction.
Do you have cross section of the bridge, Randy, to show them why the sidewalk on the bridge will be provided?
Well, there'll be sidewalks on both sides of the bridge, but the sidewalks will be ending at the west end at around Spring Mill Road. There'll be a curb ramp on the northwest corner at Spring Mill Road, but that's where all the walks will end.
Fred, I see your question. We can address that offline, if you don't mind. Does anybody else have any questions? Brian, would you mind flipping back to the last slide?
Sure.
To just make sure that everybody has a chance to copy down my contact information, and, feel free to reach out and ask any questions, from now until the project is completed. We will be posting information on the website in the next couple of days, that, you can access. And if you have any questions based on that information, please feel free to reach out. I just basically want to say thank you for everybody attending tonight and asking a lot of good questions. This is a really complex project, and we want to make sure that everybody understands what's going on and what the end result is going to be. And hopefully, once we get through the initial few weeks of detours and, confusion surrounding detours and where everybody's supposed to go, that, things will smooth out, and this will be a project that, we can get through fairly quickly and get back to normal. So, like I said, please just reach out if you have any questions or comments, and I'll be happy to respond. I just want to say thank you to our team for taking time out today and presenting this information. And I think we are pretty well wrapped up. And I just want to say thank you again, and hopefully everyone has a good evening.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.